Power Master Optimus Prime. Roll out! Hey, what's up, Internet Land? This is Zachimus Prime, aka Zachimus Prime, here with another Transformers third-party review. This is a figure that I bought from Titan One Toys. Titan One Toys has great price, great service, great speed, great everything. Great. Go there. Do it. You won't regret it. I swear you won't. Figure that we are reviewing today, that I am reviewing today, not we, but me. It's me. Is the Fans Hobby Power Baser. That is just big right there. Power Baser is apparently based off of Power Master Optimus Prime, or the Japanese version Super Jinrai. And he's awesome. He's huge. He's big. He's masterpiece scaled. It's just, so when I was a kid, Power Master Optimus Prime was my Optimus Prime. I didn't have the G1 Optimus Prime. I had a Power Master Prime. And so this is the one that I've got all the fuzzies about, you know? People do a lot of collecting and whatnot, and because they got fuzzies for the toys they had as a kid, and this is where my fuzzies are. And at first I was going to get the Munkey Toys one. And who knows, I might still get the Thunder Erebus, because it's a different figure. It's in black. But you know, because I had financial issues at the time, I was like, yeah, maybe I'll hold off on that a little bit. And now they're coming out with the Divine Suit, or whatever they call it, and they might come out with a black version of that. In which case, that's totally the way I would go. But yeah. So then they saw this guy. This guy has been popping around for a while, and I'm like, I don't know. It's big. It's gonna be expensive and whatnot. But just at some point, I don't know, something clicked in my head, and I'm like, oh my god, I have to have it. I don't even know what it was. Just all of a sudden, I was just like, you know what? This is the way to go right here. This is what I got to do. And I tell you what, guys, I do not regret it. I do not regret it. This figure is awesome. It's massive. It's beautiful. Just, you know, the sculpting, the molding, the engineering, the paint apps, the tampo prints, like this is a gorgeous figure. This is my first figure I've gotten from Fans Hobby, so thumbs up, Fans Hobby. You did an excellent job with this figure. It is astounding. But yeah, one of the issues that a lot of people have been complaining about is this backpack here. On the original Power Master Prime, he just had, like, the cab just folded up into the front section, and then he just had, like, this plate on the back, which aesthetically, I don't know that that's necessarily a better choice. It's a different choice than the chunk here, but you know, if you also had the old toy, you'd remember that that the Jinrai legs were scrawny and small, so they could fold up better in the alt mode. I've been having an issue here where I can't quite seem to get the feet to be exactly equal, but that's just the OCD in me going crazy. But yeah, it's just a gorgeous figure. It's just a really, really nice thing. But yeah, let's get down to some of his features and whatnot. In terms of posability, he's got a ball joint here up at the head. He does have a switch here. I don't have batteries installed in it, but this little doohickey thing goes back and forth. And that'll light up the face. You can take the face off and take the eyes out, and it comes with a second piece that's the same thing, but it's just, instead of being chromed in this like really nice blue, light blue chrome, it's just clear blue plastic. I haven't put that in because I'm not real big on lights and sounds in my Transformers, and so I haven't installed that. At some point, I do want to install it to see if it'll shine through this chrome plating here, because not DX9, but who is it? Who made the big Omega Supreme fans toys, right? Gosh, I don't remember. Anyhow, who made the Terminus Giganticus? The eyes on Terminus Giganticus are painted really nicely, but they're also lit from within. You flip a switch and they light up, and that's nice. And maybe I can get the same thing to go here, because like I've got the Generation Toy Op X, and in his eyes light up, and they look really good when they're lit up, but when they're not lit up, it just looks lifeless and dead. But it looks great. These little crests inside here is actually a separate part. That's not a paint app. So these right here, they're like, I don't know. If this was a Gundam, I would say that those are head cannons, but since this is a Transformer, I know they're not. Those little silver details there are painted on. And he's got tampo printings here, nice little paint apps in there, tampo printing here. He's got tampo printings on his forearms, on the skirt armor, on the legs. He's got tampo printings on the back here. Just, it looks really nice. It's just, and all of the paint apps are really, really clear. Like there's hardly even any, there's like the tiniest amount of bleed around this. That's the only real paint defect I've seen on this figure. Like it is just incredible what they've done with this. I'm astounded. I'm amazed. I'm impressed. I like it. I like it a lot. But anyhow, so for posability, his head is on a ball joint, and it looks all around. His head is not screwed together or anything like that. It's made to come apart. You pull this apart really easily, so that you can get to the battery compartment inside. His arms go around on that really stiff ratchet. It's nice. It's got a upper bicep swivel here. Oh yeah, and it'll go out all the way too. He can basically shoot himself in the head with his let's move this up a little bit. With his shoulder cannons. Shoulder cannons are just on a peg here. You can flip this handle out here, and it's got this little rail system for plugging onto his hand. I don't know that is really a thing that exists, but also on the bottom of this little piece rotates. That's for base mode. I don't know that I'm going to put it in base mode, because the base mode is not that great, but then again, base modes never are great, so yeah, I don't know. I think probably not, to be honest. And cut down the review, since I'm going to be spending so much of this gushing over this thing. He's got double jointed elbows. Both of these joints are like really stiff ratchets. They're nice and stiff. I like it. He's got the one finger is separate, and then the three fingers are together. No posability on the thumb. This is as extended out as his finger gets. I mean, my understanding is that the designers typically have the finger be separate for either trigger poses, but you'll notice there's no trigger on this gun, so you don't need to have a trigger pose, or for pointing poses, in which case the finger needs to be straight enough to point. So I don't know. I feel like maybe this was done like that simply as an expectation. That's what we the buyers just expected to have a posable finger, and so that's why they put it in there. I don't know. Wrist swivel right there. He does have a waist swivel, it's kind of weird in that you'll notice that all of the skirt armors are connected to the upper body, but the waist is on the lower body. So you move it like this, and you have to like move the skirt armors out of the way before you pose it, before you move it. Otherwise, you just get them like going out to the side like this, and it just looks silly. But I mean, whoopsie. I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, the skirt armors are a bit weird, but I mean, they look really good, and I mean, you can deal with that. You can move it up and turn it, and then put them back down to where they're supposed to be. You know, that's a simple thing to deal with. His hips. Speaking of which, let's move this out of the way. We'll go all the way forward on the noise clicky joint. All the way back. The backpack does not obscure that whatsoever. His legs will do a full Van Damme, which is nice. His knee, surprisingly, so he's got this much thigh and this much leg. So the proportions are, I mean, they're spot on for what this is supposed to be. This is better than the old G1 brick. But his legs are surprisingly, his knees are surprisingly double jointed, and you get a good range of articulation out of it. Now, it's a bit difficult to take advantage of this because this figure is so big and so heavy, and like you can't like use this in like any kind of a running pose because there's no real forward movement on the toe joint. So it's a difficult thing to really use it in an action pose. But it is a nice piece of articulation to have there. And I don't know, maybe when they come out with the God Bomber part, which they are working on, I understand, it'll have different ankle articulation than this. And we'll be able to use some of that posability a bit more. Though, to be perfectly honest, I think that by and large, it's just going to be a really, really beautiful looking, intimidating shelf factor once it's all put together there. Down here at the angle, it's got a good range of ankle articulation to the side and the tilt. It's got a bit of back tilt and not really much forward tilt. You can futz around with the toe joint, but just a little bit. But that's really about as far as you're going to get it to go forward. And I think that a little bit more ankle articulation would have really unlocked a lot of the posability potential in this figure. But I mean, it's really nice. I'm not really worried about it. I mean, you know, you can see design intention in a lot of these things. And like, for example, the Thunder Manus, you know, or Thunder Erebus that Munkey Toys makes. I mean, their Cross Dimension X series is designed with posability in mind. You know, that is one of their design intentions. And as a result, the figure looks weird from an alt mode perspective or a robot mode perspective because there's such a focus on the posability. And that's one of the things that I like about it. This one is just all on like visual presentation, you know? And so I'm not even like offended or bothered or disturbed or distressed that it's not like super posable or whatnot. I did mention that the handles are done with this, not with a peg system like Masterpiece, but with this rail system, kind of like the Munkey Toys figures. And you take this rail and you slot it into, there's a groove in their hand, and you just slot that into there. And it's super secure. It's incredibly secure. It'll stay there all week. You could do this forever, and the end of the gun will actually fall off first. But just the presentation, the shelf presence of this figure is astounding. I love it. I love it. I love every bit of it. But let's get him transformed down, because this is Jinrai, and so it does have other modes as well. I have decided that I am going to skip the base mode. Did I mention that already? Because it's not much to speak of, and it'll just take more time to do that. We're going to unpeg the head. We're going to unpeg the head from the top of this. There's these 2 slots here. 2 tabs corresponding to that. Then we're going to kind of pry these feet on the back apart and slide the head in between there. And that will allow us to just grab this and pull on it and put that aside for a bit. And this I'm actually going to just put to the side. We'll focus on the little robot. So, doink. With this in this mode, you want to kind of split the legs here. This is what I found that's worked best, because you can't, you know, split the legs here. That's going to separate the arms as well. It'll be open all the way to this point. And then one by one, you'll have to take these and push this up and around the smokestack, because the arm fits into this hollow here. And so one of the things that I don't like about this figure is that thing right there, where you have to split this whole thing to get this out. Otherwise, I'll show you real quick. Otherwise, you've got these things that are going to be fighting with each other. You know, this one, until you split these arms, you don't get enough space in between the smokestacks to slide one of these red pieces out. But the arms are held together through this tab system here, where this little thing pegs into this little slot right here. And I don't know if you noticed, but I'm getting a little bit of stressing on that. And that, I suspect, has to do with the fact that it sits into there, and then instead of, you know, pulling this out and disengaging that properly, it has to be pulled. That's the way that the toy works. So, a little bit of issue on that, but it hasn't broken yet. I haven't read anybody talking about theirs breaking yet, so I don't know, fingers crossed. These panels here will fold up. This peg right here will fit into this L-shaped slot. For the bottom of the feet, you pull on this tab here to open that up, and then you will push up on this and pull that out. Close that, and that's a complete foot. This wheel section gets moved this way for the combined mode, but it moves this way for the Jinrai mode and truck mode. So we're going to open up his other heel just the same way. And we're going to bring this down and rotate it around. Now let's focus on the upper body a bit. For the upper body, we're going to pull the arms out to the sides, and then we're going to rotate. There's a hinge that comes straight through here, and we're going to rotate it at that hinge. This panel here will fold down. You will pull up on his head, and then this tab, this big old tab here, will fit into this slot right here. And of course, these pegs will go back into where they were before. I do like some of the cool detailing in there. These like pistons and actuators and like fun stuff. Fun stuff. It's not just a peg hole. It's actually like a piece of mechanical detail. Really cool. Really cool. Then we'll take these and plug them back in to the sides. They'll snap in. Oh, while I was in there, whoopsie, I missed a piece. My bad. Well, while you're in here, while you've got this open, you want to push down on this grill here as you're closing that. And that will put this grill in a position where you can stick your thumb under there and pull it out all the way. In this waist joint here, you've got a ratchet joint here and you've got a ratchet joint here, and you want to take this double joint and move it down into position, there is a slot on this and a corresponding peg up in there, and you want that to just, you'll feel it go in. It'll be hard to hear it because there's a lot of ratchets going on, but you'll feel it. You want to push on this till it comes all the way around, folds out and comes down. That's his skirt armors. His tiny little skirt armors. And then for the arm, there's a peg here, slot there. I'll just come down and rotate around, down and around. And then you open up this panel on the back and fold out his hand. And there he is in his robot mode, looking very Jinrai-ish. And yeah, I mean, he's a masterpiece scale Jinrai. I mean, he will stand as tall as the MP10 Optimus Prime. I like the way his chest looks. Like it's, so this is molded in a blue plastic, and then the back of that plastic is painted. It's got that detail on that, and then it's painted in silver, and so the silver shines through the blue, and it makes it look really good. And this is a metallic blue that will never scratch off. It's the same for back here. By the way, I didn't put his Power Master back in there. And yeah, it's really good here. One of the things that you can do for weapons is you can take one of these guns here, and this is really, I mean, you can have him hold it, but because you'll notice that it's actually longer than his forearm, he can hold it, but only like at these straight arm awkward poses. Yeah. If you disconnect this barrel and extend out the back of the gun, now, well, it goes from being the back of the gun to being a whole complete gun itself. And so that's fun. That's a fun little detail there. I suppose it also, if you really want to, you can take one of these shoulder cannons here, pull out the handle and attach that to his hand as well. He'll hold it just as easily. So yeah, that's nice. Just not feeling like maybe you could have used a little paint app inside each of those. Maybe I'll fix that later. I don't know. But again, it shares a lot of the same design concepts with the big combined mode, which is the colors pop. The sculpt is really crisp. It's got the Tampo printings here on the legs, here on the toes. Just looks really, really good. The presentation of this figure is just top notch all the way across. You know, like I said, I haven't picked up a Fans Hobby figure yet, but I may go check out something else they've got. You know, I mean, I'm really impressed with this. By the way, rubberized tires. Hopefully these don't crack and self-destruct over time. Fingers crossed. But yeah, just, I mean, as big as this figure is, it's of course still a lot smaller than the rest of them combined. But it's just a really, really, I'm just super impressed with this. And even like in here, like this little venting detail in here, like that's a separate piece, you know, that's like an actual piece of molded in the silvery plastic, you know, there's not like the paint apps that are on here are really crisp and they're really nice, but most of this is plastic color, which is really good. And especially when you factor in this like matte finish that they've put on most of the surfaces of it. Just really, really, really. Because, you know, if you get something that's just straight plastic, then it tends to look really toyetic. But this finish, I think that finish really makes it look more, it makes it feel less cheap, you know? Gosh, even right here, check out this detail right here. This paint apps in here. Just really nice, really crisp, really clean. I love it. I love it a whole lot. But let's get him transformed down into his truck mode. Put this gun back together. I'll take this other gun out. Fold the handle up like that. Oh, I forgot one major thing, actually. Let me move all this aside for the time being. And we'll take a look at this. Now, you'll notice that one of my pegs is on the front instead of being on the back like it's supposed to. My little Jinrai came with 2 left feet. He's not that good of a dancer. I have contacted Fans Hobby. They are sending me a replacement leg. So I guess I will just... You know, I haven't actually thought about that, but I'll have to figure out how to get this dude apart. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to get him apart so I can get that leg attached onto there. Maybe it just yanks out. I don't know. I don't want to break it any worse. Hopefully they give me instructions as well for how to fix it. But yeah, 2 left feet, but that's getting fixed. But this little dude, I mean, he's bigger than say like a Titan Master or a Prime Master. But I mean, he's small, but it's fun though, because he's got his head articulation. His head will look left and right. His shoulders are on ball joints, so they'll move around and they'll come out and out a little bit. He's got freaking elbows. Like, what? That's nice. He's got knees, of course, because that's how the transformation works. But it's set up so that, you know, so that his knees don't bend sideways like the G1 toy. They actually bend the right ways, which is great. But yeah, just he's a fun little guy, you know. I'm not sure. So he's having issues attaching onto here, and there's a couple reasons for that, I think. First of all, it does not help by any stretch of the imagination that I currently only have 1 peg on here. And I think that that's a big part of it. This glossy grill part thing, it's on this like clicky joint here where you click it and it goes in, and you click it in again and it comes out. Kind of like a ballpoint pen. It's actually probably a very similar mechanism to that. And so, like, if it's in and you push it in there, that little spring, though it's not really like super strong, is now putting its full force against this guy, trying to get him to pop out. And even when it's all the way in, it's still like, you still kind of wonder about how it fits in there. It doesn't seem to fit on very well. There's a space to put him in the alt mode, in the truck mode. That's not the front of the grill. And I think that holds it a little more securely, because, you know, I think that the depth of the cut, the depth of the slots may have some factor into it. I don't know. So, not the most secure of connections, but by and large, it works out really well. Certainly works well enough for display. Anyhow, as we were, back to transforming into truck mode, we're going to put his heels back away, just the same way that we pulled them out. We're going to take, he's got a joint here, this big one here that's all clicky, but then he's got a smaller clicky joint inside there. We're going to push this up and in, and then this tab will fit into this slot, like so. So again, push that up and in, tab, slot, Bob's your uncle. these kneecaps here are going to move up, and they actually peg together, though this isn't quite the right time to do that. We're going to open up these here. Now he's got these little buttons right here, and you push that, and that will allow this whole thing to actuate down. And when you're doing that, you want to take these tabs right here, this tab on the inside of the blue part of his leg, and that will fit into one of these slots. So you want to push that up, start getting these to go together. Yeah. We're going to put this down. We're going to use this L-shaped tab again, except instead of using this part of it, we're going to use this part of it. That's going to fit into this little tab right here, if it's done correctly. Ta-da! More or less. Ta-da! More or less. We're going to put his skirt armors away, fold them up like that, push them down, and then tilt them all the way around. Up, down, and around. We're going to extend out this joint once more. Let's put his hands away real quick. Open those up. Open those up. These hands will fold in like this, just straight down. Those ones actually like to be rotated before they go away, but this one will go away just fine as it is. Turn these around to the back. Peg them in. Pull this out. Extend this. Now we'll just fold the head back down, make sure we pull this panel up, close that up, put that side in, put this side down, tab those together. And then here's the only real tricky part to this transformation. So there's a tab on the inside of this arm, and there's a corresponding slot on the inside of this kneecap. And then furthermore, this on his elbow functions as kind of a tab that goes into this one. So you kind of got to like get everything to go together at the same point, and kind of the best way to do that is to split this all out and deal with it one at a time. But then you have to like contest with these tabs going into the crotch plate there, and you know, it's just it's a little bit frustrating, but once you get it all together, like it goes together quite well. You have to struggle with it a bit. And I don't know, maybe in a perfect world you wouldn't have to struggle with it as much, but unfortunately that perfect world is not where we live. We live in the real world. And you know, I don't know, I kind of like the real world. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. These have to extend out first. I'm having some clashing with that. This is a joint that's a little wonky because, see, when it's in there, it's kind of pegged in. And you want to unpeg it and then pull it out. And then you just kind of sit here and mess with it, and it'll just at some point just go. And I haven't figured out how to make it go on demand. Like so far, there we go. So far, all it does for me is it'll just like sit there and you struggle with it, and you struggle with it, and all of a sudden, boom, it goes. And you're like, oh, that's cool. All right. Peg, 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 tab, mesh everything together. This panel will fold around. There's a slot here and a tab there. That'll help keep it all together. And And there we go. That is the cab mode of this guy. We're going to stick that aside for a bit and get to the transformation of this. Now, for this one, we're going to start at the feet and work our way all the way up. So then the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these and extend them out. We're going to slide the toe in, and then that is also on a double hinge. Push that in. That'll allow us to push this down, and there's a slot in there and a little bit of a tab up there. And it just kind of goes down and locks in. So same with the other foot. Bam, like so. Now, this like mud flap or whatnot here, what you want to do is you want to pull this whole thing out. Actually, we're gonna pull it out for now, and we're gonna come back to that in just a moment because I do want to get these plates out of the way. And that we're just gonna pull that up. It'll untab from here, from the slot here. Move that up, and that'll come out. So open, slide, come around just halfway because we're just getting it prepared. Now we're going to deal with these things here. And you'll see they're on kind of a hinge, but also a ball joint here at the top. We're going to take and we're going to rotate it on that ball joint. And it's kind of a difficult thing to, it's a weird thing to do. And now once you've got that properly turned around, there's a tab here and a tab here. And there's corresponding slots inside here. And you want to tab those into those slots. And they'll just fit right in like that. So again, with this other side, pull this around. Push this up and tab it into there. That'll allow us to take this panel to fold that out and tab it in. This is a fun little detail that I want to point out. It's got paint apps on this side to line up with these lines here. But when you rotate it around, it's got paint apps on the other side to line up with that one there. It's kind of a fun detail. It's not the sort of thing that you really see too much. All right, with both of these arms extended out, you can just take this and open it up and it'll flip around in there. I've had issues getting it to seat and tab back together properly. I found that by far the easiest way to do it is to rotate the fist like so the back of the hand is facing out, and then it'll close up pretty easily then. And the same with this side here. Rotate that around, close it up. Now what we're going to do, bring this up. We're going to put both of his arms, we're going to bring both of his arms up on these joints right here. Until they tab together here. And then we're going to fold them back down like so. And that puts his arms away. And we're going to take these, this tab here will fold into that slot there. This will, you got yourself a tab here. Yeah. Tab, slot, tab, fold that in together. help keep everything in. You've got your Super Jinrai head. There's the same tabs on here that folded into the panels on so these red panels here. They will put into these panels on the arms. And so we'll just push that down. It's on a sliding mechanism, so we'll just slide it till it gets to be the right spot. And then it will just tab in there. And it just kind of hangs out underneath. And then, last but not least, we're going to push, there's these buttons right here. Underneath on his legs. We're going to push those. That'll slide his leg up. And this one doesn't seem to want to click into the right place. All right, now we got to focus on getting these things tabbed together properly. This panel folds out. That's going to tab into there once we get this all back together. These panels here come out. We're going to push them all the way up. Then that will allow us to come around and pull out these panels here. And the whole purpose of these panels, let me get my old tool out. This one, the whole purpose of these panels is to just kind of close up the gap in the back. So we'll put this one down first. You'll see that there's a little slot system in there and a little slot system in there. So we'll come down and this one will attach onto it. Down and attach. Make sure that this is spread out. These will tab together all the way up and down this connection. It's a lot of tabs to line up all at once, but it can be done. All right. Take this, fold this, connect it into that panel there, connect it into that panel right there. This one wants to go down first. This one, these tabs will go on top of that. Bam, like that. And then bam, like that. Alrighty. And then we'll just take this and fold this around. And it will come down to the front. Oh no, I'm untabbing stuff. And then this right here will fold onto, will attach onto these pegs right here. And it is not, super, like you can't pick it up by this connection, but I mean, you can drag it around by that connection. And then for our accessories, we'll plug these into the top, plug these into the sides. And then this guy will actually plug into what is the top of the arms. And that's how you store him in vehicle mode. Because of course, in the show when he was in vehicle mode, typically this guy was in his non-Power Master form, driving the thing, Wow, why does it not want to go in? It's because I have the camera on. That's the reason why. Like how many times I've transformed this and not had a single problem. And now all of a sudden, look, problems. Yeah. Yeah, it's good enough for government work. And there he is in his robot, his vehicle mode. And he is freaking massive. He's just huge. Looks amazing. You'll need to angle these up if you want to turn this too much. But yeah, you can tell the tires squeaking all over the place. They are all real rubber tires. and they like to have their traction with stuff. But just a really big, really beautiful, a lot of heft to it. Just looks good in all of its modes, except for maybe the base mode, which always looks a bit dorky. But, you know, the original Jinrai had a base mode, so, you know, it's nice because you can see that there wasn't a lot of design thought put into the base mode, which is good because I would hate to have to sacrifice the vehicle presentation or the robot presentation to make for a nicer base mode, because there's always sacrifices when you're designing things. But I think that is gonna pretty much sum up my my review here. This is a really great figure. I really recommend getting him. I'm super excited to I'm super excited for their next figure, the next one that's coming out, the God Bomber. Super excited for that. Then he'll be like huge and complete. I'll put him next to my masterpiece Victory Saber, even though that's not technically accurate because this guy is who became Victory Leo later. But yeah, a lot of fun, a lot of cool, a lot. But anyhow, I've rambled enough for today. Everybody, thank you for watching. If you made it all the way to the end, treat yourself to a cookie. And I will see you in the next one. Everybody be awesome and stay good to each other. See ya.